Everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope all of you had an amazing weekend. The futures market is officially open, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the top 3 stocks that all of you should be keeping in your watch list for next week. I'm also going to be sharing with y'all some of the trades that we took last week, primarily on like Thursday and Friday. And I'm going to be doing an update on one of the stocks that I've mentioned previously that I haven't gotten back to. All right, now before we begin, do not forget to annihilate the like button on your way in here. All right, so let's get started right off the bat. So yeah, as I said, the futures market is open right now. The one thing that I want y'all to keep in mind, the one thing that I want you to keep in mind is this: we're gonna switch the time frame to the 1 hour, and then we're gonna look at what happened throughout the last week. All right, so we got this structure right here, and there was a very nasty trap. Hopefully, some of y'all saw it and realized that it was a trap, right? There's this bearish pennant. It was looking like it wanted to break out to the upside. I believe this was pre-market on Friday. Yes, it was. And then as soon as the market opened or into the open, a lot of people got trapped. And this thing just kept falling lower and lower. This is not supposed to happen. And it just kept falling lower and lower and lower, which kind of proved my point, at least the point that I was trying to make throughout like the past 2 weeks, right? The game plan that I showed y'all. And right now, again, since this is very, very bearish, since there is a trap at the top, if you don't open up, like if you don't open high, at least like above 250 and stay there, there is gonna be some. I think there's gonna be some panic. Personally, I think there will be. All right, and that will. It's not that I'm biased. Okay, I did put that plan out, and we're gonna look at it. We're gonna look at, for those of you who are new to the channel, we've been following this game plan for the past like 3 weeks. /NQ. All right, and /NQ. Again, my drawings are still on the charts, and it looked like it wanted to deviate from it. Again, this was Friday morning, and then it went right back to it. All right, now we're gonna look at the 4 hour, and the 4 hour is still clean. I have no problem with this whatsoever until it does something like completely surprising or off trend. I'm still bearish on the overall market. I think that this is gonna play out well, and I think that the Nasdaq will be at exactly $12,571 by the 15th, if everything plays out the way it's drawn on the chart. Now, the top 3 stocks. Let's talk about those. The first stock that y'all should be keeping in your watch list for next week, that stock is TSM. All right, we're gonna talk about TSM because of this. Again, I shared this one with y'all previously because of this pattern right there, right? And also there is this thing right there. Again, let me just make this thing a bit longer. That way y'all can see what I'm trying to get at. Now, it broke down first and then retested the previous level of what the level of resistance now right here once, and then another one twice. Now, if you open up higher, it may open up at like 102.40, and then if the trend still continues to the downside, which I think it will be to the downside, then we might take out these previous lows right here. $99 is gonna get taken out, and then it's finally gonna go low all the way to $95. The daily chart still looks weak. Like this is a bearish engulfing candle right here. The combination of these two, and also the gap on here is still there at like $93. It wants to fill. I think it's gonna fill. Let's see the weekly. The weekly still looks super bearish. Again, keep the bigger picture in mind. I think it can go lower. In my opinion, I think it can go lower. The volume is rising, and I don't think it's done quite yet. So that's the first stock that y'all should be keeping in your watch list. Still bearish. Now the next one that all of y'all should be keeping in your watch list. Let me change it to the 1 minute. And we're gonna look at Adobe, ADBE. Alright. And the reason why I want to share Adobe with all of you is because this one is also on a downtrend. But most importantly, if you zoom really closely on the 4-hour, like right over here, you can see that there is a descending triangle that literally like just broke down on here. It just did on Friday at noon at around like 4:22, and then it just kept falling even like lower towards 416. As you can see, my alerts are on the chart. Yes, we did saw this one like at noon, and I did post it in a Discord at noon so that people know what's going on. And I think that it's still gonna fall. I think that it's going to get to 370 as you see on the charts. I think so. That's the second one that y'all should be keeping in your watch list. Now the third one that y'all should be keeping in your watch list is pretty much this one is an update slash recap because I've shared this one with y'all and it's still doing fantastic. So this is what we did with Snapchat. Again, for those of y'all who have been subscribed to the channel, congratulations if you've made a lot of money on Snapchat because we definitely did. So this is what happened with Snapchat, and we started on the 9th because the drop started on the 10th. So yeah, this is the 9th at exactly like 5 minutes before the market closed. I let everybody know that this thing was still clean and that the best entry to get in. Again, if we're wrong and it goes higher, then we take a small loss. But if we're right, then this is like the absolute best position to get in at exactly $34. With puts, as you can see right here with the P33.5 at 76 cents each. All right. And the next day it gapped down to around it gapped down by $1 to around $33, and then it just kept falling down like we like. Again, the stock was behaving well. It was just dropping, and then at after an hour has gone by, and Snapchat dropped to around like $32. I started selling some profits. I started taking some profits off the table. I sold those contracts for $150 each. And then let's see here. And then at 9:11 a.m. it dropped a little bit. Let's go back to the chart and we're gonna look at that day specifically. So it was right over here. At around like here, after this big drop, I ended up getting out completely at around like a little bit under $32. The contracts were up by quite a lot. Over here by 150 and over here by like $185. The contracts went up a little bit more towards like $250 per contract, which I could have done a little bit better on the first trade, or I could have just let this thing ride all the way through, right? So we got out here, around here, and then we ended up getting back in again because the structure was still clean and I still liked it, and it was still bearish overall. As y'all can see over here, this was the next entry was at 3 minutes before the market closed, and then after this was Friday, I sold some at 850 again. This was when it got close to this region, right at like $30.70. And then I was holding the rest throughout the rest of the day just to see how low it could really go. And then I sold some more at around like $30.50. So the first sale was around here, and then the next sale was around here. And then it just kept going lower. Again, as the stock keeps going lower, I keep taking profits off the table. For those of you who are beginners, this is what you want to do. It's good practice. It's good practice. Did I know that it was gonna drop all the way through? Yes, but it's still good practice. Just take some money off as it drops. All right. And then later on, it kind of formed this falling wedge on the 1 minute time frame, and it eventually popped out right here. And I ended up selling most of my contracts and leaving a runner on there for the next week, which will be for Monday. And that is why I'm making this video. All right, definitely watch Snapchat again. For those of y'all who are still in it and who are following the plan that I put out on here, is following it to the T. It's gonna drop to 25. I really think it's gonna drop to 25. I really think so. It's really clean. And I am holding my puts. And let's see if it's going to finish the job and close that gap right over here. All right. Let's see here. Oh, I forgot to show y'all. Let me show you exactly how we did. All right. So since some of you are interested in the P&Ls, we're going to look at those. So this is pretty much what happened. Somebody kicked it off on the 10th, which was Thursday. They made $4,260 on Netflix puts and Snapchat puts. Another person made $84% on those puts. Again, the first puts that I purchased, that I showed y'all in that like earlier. All right, and they actually made 100% on that. And this was somebody else's transactions making money on the Snapchat puts. Y'all can pause it and look at it. All right. Somebody made $1,100 on Snap puts again. Another person made $181 on Netflix. And somebody over here made a killing on Snapchat. Again, sold a little early, but that's all right. Again, I told y'all, I take profits as things move in my direction. All right. It's a good habit to do. And over here, somebody else made approximately $1,200 in profit on Snapchat puts. All right, and if we go down some more, this was on the 11th, and somebody made $323 on Snapchat puts again. And also, they also showed it in the video, which wasn't bad at all. This was a very nice play for them. So shout out to you for shorting the video. Another person made 139% on Snapchat. Somebody over here tripled their money on Snapchat. Again, this was from the 10th to the 11th. So they bought YOLO puts at the close on Thursday and tripled their money on Friday, as y'all can see right here. And these are all the gains from Snapchat. And somebody else made $1,500 on Snapchat. And it goes on and on and on. So that's pretty much how we did. Hopefully y'all made a killing on the stock as well. Now, I told y'all that I was going to touch on a few stocks that I've mentioned previously that I didn't talk about earlier, or earlier this week, I would say, earlier last week. Now, that stock is CVX. Now, I told y'all CVX would go parabolic when it was at around $160. It definitely went parabolic, all right? So that video was released over here. I'm going to pin it at the top. So I told you I'll watch it for 174. It got to 174. Like right now, the way it's looking, I would be really worried to go short. It's not looking weak at all. Like look at the bottom over here. It's not looking weak. Definitely not. It's looking quite scary. If you got puts on here, be very, very careful. When a stock consolidates like that, and for those of you who have been following for a while, when it comes to short selling, like consolidation is like the worst. A short seller's worst nightmare. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see the stock consolidate. We either want to see this thing just plummet immediately, and there isn't any bearish candlestick patterns at the top. So I think that it may go higher. I think that $180 or $185 could actually be next. If you look on the weekly is still looking strong. Like we could see another green candle like that throughout the whole week. Let me draw it. Okay, right? We could see another candle like that. Like we could see it. It's not It's not ready to fall just yet. At least the way I'm looking at it. So that's my honest thoughts on this one. I think it continues. I definitely think it continues. Now the other stock that I've mentioned that could possibly go parabolic, that one was NUE. I told y'all to watch it for a long. It took a little bit of a dip, but it wasn't a coincidence because this is a break and a retest. And what usually follows is a pretty decent follow through. All right, a pretty decent follow through all the way up to like 150. I don't think it's quite done yet. Big picture is still kind of clean. All right, I've seen something like this happen before, and this is just a different variation of it. It either goes straight up after the break and gets there, or it breaks, goes like it gets exhausted and then it just drops, retests, and then bounces again. So that's my honest thoughts on the stocks. I hope all of y'all enjoyed the video. I hope all of y'all made some money on Snapchat last week. And yeah, don't forget to annihilate the like button for the YouTube algorithm. As always, it helps the channel tremendously and it allows more people to get this knowledge as well. Also, if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, definitely click on subscribe and click on the notification bell along with all notifications. That way you don't miss out on future uploads. If you would like to be part of a private Discord community where you can get the details of the contracts that I buy at the time that I buy it and get all of this information in real time, you can find that as the first link in the description of the video below. If you haven't added me on social media already, you can find me at Paul and Ngumah and at PATTERNOLOGY LAB on Instagram and on Twitter. And lastly, if all of this is brand new to you, if you're interested in getting started in the stock market, I left some very basic step-by-step directions in the description of the video below. Step 1 to step 3. It only takes about 15 minutes or less for you to get set up with all the tools you need to start trading immediately. You can also get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,850 right after signing up with Webull using the third link in the description of the video below. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul and Ngumah with PATTERNOLOGY LAB, where we trade patterns and patterns only. And I will see all of you in the next video.